Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general horoscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. These are the general energies, trends and themes that we're likely to be experiencing over the course of the week ahead. These are actually community led and created. So many, I always tell this story, but I think it's really cool. Many of my regular returners to this channel, we've started to notice different trends, patterns and themes that were popping up in the weekly sign videos. So I kept putting out like key to the week videos, and then I thought, you know what, let's just do a weekly general to see what the energy of the general trends, energies and themes are that are going to come up. So this was actually created by the Radiant Reality community, and I am super chuffed about it, and I love delivering these. Some people actually prefer these more than my weekly readings. So hey ho, either which way, all of this is led by my intuitive message. So every week I will go into my intuition and I will ask for a message. What is it that we really need to know at this moment in time? And that kind of colors or flavors or maybe even textures, if you like, the reading, right? It gives us like that added sort of layer of understanding of what's going on over the course of this week. Now, that being said, this week your intuitive message is, which of the two paths are you going to take, right? So how funny is that, right? We're in Libra season. Everyone talks about balance and making choices and decisions, or indecision or indecisiveness and all the rest of it. This week it is going to be very clear, I think, for all of us. In some way, shape or form, we're going to have two paths ahead of us, and one of them we have to take. So, and really the beauty of this is, when you have options like that, the choice truly is yours. Don't let anything, not even your own past history, challenges or issues, convict. That light is blindingly beautiful. It's making like, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's making like all kinds of rainbows. It's beautiful. Now, that being said, you know, if you have options, it means that you can choose one of the two paths that are available to you. And ultimately, don't let anything or anyone, not even your own history, get in the way of you making the decision or the choice that feels genuinely aligned to who you are at this moment in time. And you're going to be hearing that word from me a lot over the next few weeks. The word alignment, all right? So start getting used to that idea, start getting that sort of energy into your mind, and maybe start getting into that energy for yourself as well. All right, with that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your destiny card this week from the Human Design Oracle deck, so we're going to have a look at these here and see what's going on in that vein. All right, so this week, our message is the gate 14 and luck, right? So the reason I find this really interesting is because I kind of get the feeling that one of these paths, one of these opportunities that shows up for us this week, right? So we've got the two fishes that are making up the yin yang sort of energy as well. We've got one of the paths that is available to us, as individuals. It feels like one of those paths is literally just kind of going to land in your lap by sheer luck, right? By sheer luck. And when it does, I think it's going to throw into question like, oh, should I go for this or should I not go for this? Really, you have to weigh up the pros and cons of the situation, absolutely. But if something comes to you and you feel like it's a divinely guided or inspired move, pay attention to that. When the good things show up for you, lean into them. It's so easy for us to convince ourselves, well, just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Is it not possible that you could just have whatever it is that's shown up for you and enjoy it, be present and be in the moment? I'm a big believer and a big fan of, I've got a practice that I always do. Whenever a big sort of blessing or something like that shows up in my life, or a gift, I make a point of consciously saying, I welcome in this blessing, all right? It's kind of like, when you have guests, you don't just open the door and say, oh yeah, great, now I've got to decide what to do with this. Maybe you do. I'm not coming to your house. But what you actually do is you come in, how are you, take off your coat and all the rest of it. Do the same with the blessings that show up in your life this week. Really take a moment to welcome them in, especially if it's something that you really do want to move on. And if it is one of these two paths that really highlights or reveals itself to you, the first thing I'm going to say to you is, Sit in that gratitude energy that the universe is sending you wonderful things. Even if it's something that you decide, you know what, maybe this isn't the time for me. Maybe this isn't, the thing that I need at this moment in time, but it really is wonderful. Put that energy out there so that the energy and the universe can say, okay, you know what, you're not ready for this. No problem. That means we'll bring it back round to you for a time where you actually are ready for it. So what are our direction cards? How do we best tap into this energy and how do we best utilize it? We have the Seven of Swords. Okay, so yes, I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, like that's a really scary card. Actually, one of the positive sides of the Seven of Swords, especially with this energy, you could catch yourself in a lie this week where you're saying, well, I can't do that because I'm too old. Or, oh, well, no, you can't, I can't do that because I haven't got the money. Your savings probably say different, and I'm not encouraging everybody to just suddenly go and start living from their savings, but you get my point. What this also tells me as well, the Seven of Swords is very often about about designing things or redesigning them at this moment in time. So I really like this because it suggests that maybe one of the paths that is showing up for you, you need to change your perspective or the story that you're telling yourself about that option that's available to you. For the next card out, we have the Knight of Wands. So for some of you, it does look like travel and or potentially further away connections are coming in here. That Knight of Wands is a very passionate card. It's about really jumping into something that you really want or desire. And then you have this with the Ace of Swords, right? So wherever it is that you're telling yourself that it's too much of a commitment, I'm going to be really honest with you, it may just be where you're telling yourself that it's too much of a commitment at the moment because you realize it's going to take a lot of work from you. All right. Now, I am going to say with that Seven of Swords, it's almost like there's something, because you've got the Seven of Swords, then you've got the Knight of Wands. It's like you're trying to run away from a fundamental truth this week. Don't do that. Look it straight in the eye, whether it's your history, whether it's an old story that you're telling yourself, whether it's a fear about a story that someone from your past can tell about you. Fuck that, all right? Like, don't live in the shackles of that. Live in the presence of who you are at this moment in time. That's how you claim your sovereignty, is by being here now and saying, okay, you know what? I'm never going to be able to erase who I was or the experiences that I've had, but you know what? They don't rule my present. I do. By being present. Then you've got this Ace of Swords with the Knight of Wands. It's almost like the story that you're telling yourself, the Seven of Wands, you're trying to, Seven of Swords, should I say, the story that you're telling yourself is a lie. It's like, I can't do this, I'm not going to do all of the rest of it. The Knight of Wands is saying, I actually really want this though, and the Ace of Swords is kind of saying, the opportunity is there for you, but you have to seize it. That's the thing with the Ace of Swords, it's a very definitive energy. It's like you either do or you don't. And, right, it's also a card of decisions, interestingly enough. Which of the two paths are you going to take? And don't let this sort of message kind of fool you into thinking, oh, well, if I don't take this wonderful opportunity that's shown up right now that I'm not ready for, if you're genuinely not, if it's just that you're talking yourself out of something that could be truly great for you, you need to rethink what you're telling yourself in here, all right? But outside of that, this actually looks really, really nice. What I will also say is, some of what comes up this week may be linked to other people. So there might be, we're always linked to other people, but you get my point. You may have other people to consider, and it may very well be a certain connection, either in the present or from the past, that is holding you back from this. I really want to encourage all of you to look at things that show up for you this week through the lens of your life now, not your past experiences. For our insight cards, what's coming up that we may not be able to see at the moment? This is where we're kind of looking around corners to see what else is in the pipeline for us. And we have the Death card. Okay, so endings, completions, and culminations. We have the Queen of Swords. So there's a few ways this could show up. The Queen of Swords is usually an air sign woman, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. This with the Death card, this could, and because the Queen of Swords, aside from a person, also represents a fight, a battle, a dispute, or something that we go to war for. You've got this here with the Death card, and the feeling that I get from it is like some issue, challenge, or dispute is literally being ended here. It might go out with a bang, because ultimately it is the Queen of Swords. She does not go down without a fight. You trust me for that. With the Death card though, it is kind of certain that whatever this challenge, issue, dispute, argument, or whatever it is coming to a finite end. And then we've got this with the Ace of Wands. So we've got two aces here, which is beautiful. So two aces can represent trickery, but it can also represent literal and or figurative birth. And what I love most about this is the Ace of Wands with the Queen of Swords. This is, you know what, now that I've found the courage and the strength to fight this, battle, this issue, this argument or person, or even my own history, now I've had the guts to face that and stare it down. I feel inspired about my future and initiating new projects. I've got a funny feeling this triplet here as well speaks to the whole lady in charge in our parliament here in the UK. I don't think she's long for it, to be completely honest with you. And it's funny because that message came up in the winter solstice reading. If you've been with me long enough, you know every year I do a winter solstice event. That will be happening later this year, so you'll be hearing about that way into the future. And I also wanted to say as well, which I totally forgot to mention, this weekend, look out for it. Your 2023 stuff is coming. It is imminent. It's literally just around the corner. I think you are going to love these this year. I have put even more into them, more information, more deeper information, looks at stuff that probably most people haven't really mentioned as yet, which I'm really, really excited about, because there's some pretty interesting stuff coming up with the eclipses alone next year. And as if that wasn't enough, I've included an astrological cheat sheet for you for the big stuff that's taking place next year and how it's going to affect each one of your signs. Now, coming back to this, I kind of get the feeling that she's not long for it. And what's really interesting is last year at the winter solstice session, I made a prediction about a woman coming into power but not lasting very long, and I wonder if it's her. I thought it was, at the time, I actually thought it was the VP of the US, the lady, I've forgotten her name. I thought it was her. And interestingly enough, that did happen. She came in because obviously the big guy over there was having his insides looked at or whatever. Very weird. Why you publicise that, or I have no idea, but whatever. So she was put in power, but then she was swiftly removed. I have a really strong feeling that this is going to be the same thing happening here. So that's the message that I've got for the wider world stage. I also have here, because the direction cards are suggesting that a lie or something that's been swept under the carpet, and what hasn't at this point, right, is actually going to be revealed over the course of the next month. But we're going to hear the rumble. So it's like that crack in the foundation. You're going to hear this week, right? There's going to be some anomaly in the news where you think, it's like when you hear the words such and such is being investigated, that will be the key. When you see it, when you hear it, you're going to say, yes, you know what? That means that we're about to see something else come out about this. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out. My money is on police, military, all those kinds of industries potentially, and or a famous person who's probably been up to no good, probably on a legal slant, that's going to come forward here, and it will be a young male, very likely. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shows up. I really love it when you guys do that as well. Like, some of you will email me like links for the news, and you'll say like, Raf, you said this was going to happen, bam, here it is. Or you'll post the links in the comments and stuff, or you'll let me know like, yep, saw this on the news or heard this wherever. I love it when you do that, because it's confirmation for me, and it also lets me know where I need to, maybe brush up the skills, or where it is that I'm doing good. With that said, I wish you all of the best. Take care, and I'll see you soon.